Have you ever been in a room full of people, golden light sparkling above, laughter spilling from every corner, and yet felt completely invisible, as if the world was moving joyfully around you while you sat still, unseen? That was how she felt that evening, sitting alone at the father's table at a wedding where the bride was only a distant cousin, her fingers nervously twisting the napkin in her lap, her eyes wandering from group to group as people clinked glasses, held hands, and shared memories that didn't include her, until the loneliness pressed so heavy that she thought of slipping away unnoticed. But then a voice broke through her thoughts, low and steady, saying, "Act like you're with me." And when she looked up startled, she saw a tall man in a dark suit, his calm eyes fixed on hers as he slid into the empty chair with a confidence that made it seem he belonged there all along, asking gently, "You don't mind, do you?" And before she could think of an answer, she shook her head, almost relieved by the intrusion. From that moment, the air around her shifted. He leaned back easily, draping an arm across the back of her chair, speaking to her in a voice that was both kind and steady, asking small questions about the bride and groom, about weddings in general, never prying but making space for her to speak. And when she did, she surprised herself by laughing, the sound breaking free after months of silence and heaviness. Slowly, whispers began to ripple through the guests, people noticing them together, but instead of shrinking under their gaze, she felt oddly safe, as if his confidence was a shield protecting her from judgment. At one point, he leaned closer, his hand brushing lightly over hers, whispering with a playful smile, "They're watching." And her heart skipped, not from the act itself, but from the realization that she didn't mind pretending, not with him, because for the first time it didn't feel like pretending at all. When the bride herself came over, eyebrows lifted in surprise, asking brightly how they knew each other, he answered smoothly, "Old friends just catching up," glancing at her with reassurance, and she played along, smiling shyly, the thrill of sharing a secret making her feel like she belonged. The hours drifted by as music swelled, people danced, and laughter carried through the night, and though they spoke softly, their world felt private, filled with glances and laughter that pushed her loneliness farther away with each passing moment. When the celebration finally waned and guests began to leave in pairs, the cool night air greeted them as they stepped outside together, and she stood uncertain, wondering if it had all been a stranger's kindness, a fleeting act to save her from embarrassment. But then he turned to her under the soft glow of the streetlights and said, "You looked like you needed someone tonight." Not as a line, not as charm, but as simple truth, and she felt her throat tighten with tears because he was right. She whispered, "Thank you. I don't even know your name." And he smiled, extending his hand properly this time, saying, "Ethan," with a warmth that steadied her trembling fingers as she gave him her own name in return. He walked her to her car, the silence between them no longer heavy but comfortable, and she realized that sometimes life doesn't change with fireworks or grand gestures, but with small, unexpected moments, a stranger's whisper, a shared laugh, the comfort of being seen when you had almost given up on it. At her car, she paused, heart lighter than it had been in years, and said softly, "Maybe we'll meet again," afraid to hope, but unable to stop herself. And he only smiled that same steady smile that had first calmed her, nodding as though he understood. Driving away, She replayed the night in her mind, the way he'd appeared out of nowhere, the warmth in his voice, the way laughter felt new again, and she knew whether or not he stayed in her life. This was more than a fleeting kindness. It was proof that even in the loneliest of places, a single moment can remind you that you are not invisible. And as you hear this story, I want you to think about the people who have walked into your life, even for a brief moment, and made you feel seen. Because sometimes strangers can change everything. If you believe in the power of such moments, share this story with someone who needs it, and tell me, do you believe that a single night, a single stranger, can change a heart forever?